Hi Dreamers, it's Heather with Heather's Dream House, and I have a surprise for you today. I am here at Verse Restaurant and Lounge it's officially Toluca Lake, right?
Toluca Lake, yes.
On Lancashire Boulevard, and I am here with Matias Marroquin. Did I say it right?
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Awesome. Marroquin, just so you know, right? Marroquin.
Marroquin.
You got to roll your R's. Marroquin.
Exactly.
That was better.
That's perfect.
I need practice. Well, we are here at the bar at the most luxurious restaurant, formerly a restaurant that will go unnamed, that I used to hang out at way back when with a bunch of my friends. And it's been transformed into the most luxurious, gorgeous, amazing sound quality restaurant and lounge. And let's just take a little zoom. We're going to show you the entire place. Look at the skylights. The library at the end, that's the actual stage. Here's the hostess bar and the entryway. And then we've got the entire beautiful bar. And our guest of the hour. Hey again.
Pleasure.
Well, let's have a
Thank you for
seat.
having me.
Let's have a seat here and let's talk about what it's like running this beautiful
Sure.
place and what your background is.
Yeah, absolutely. Background was in architecture. I went to college at Cal Poly SLO.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pandemic kind of shakes things up a lot, so I ended up coming down to LA to work at this project. I've always wanted to be a somm. I've always loved wine.
So
And,
tell everybody who doesn't know what a somm is. That's
Yeah.
short for sommelier.
I mean, essentially, it's just my job to look after the wine program.
And
So
that means you're obsessed with wines.
that means I'm obsessed with wine. It's not an addiction, but just like a really strong passion. I've been visiting wine regions since I was a little kid, going up to Napa, Paso Robles, Bordeaux, Burgundy, etc.
Where are you from?
I'm from here in LA.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
born
then
and
your
raised in
your
LA.
parents dragged you around to
They
the.
dragged me around, yeah.
I love your
Twist my
parents.
arm.
That's so great.
Yeah, no, they were definitely very set on getting me exposed to wine at a young age, which I'm really thankful for because it was obviously 10 years of not liking the taste to finally, when I was around 17, 18, just clicking.
Right, it
and
takes
although I
time
was
for your
obviously
palate,
pursuing-
right?
Yeah, it took so long. But while pursuing obviously a different career, I kind of realized I would really love to be in the wine and spirits world.
Now
And
here you are.
COVID hit, I came to Verse, and I've been running the program here ever since. And it's been an absolute blessing to be in a place like this.
Oh, I love that. Now, how long has the restaurant officially been open?
So we opened 3 months before COVID. I wasn't here at that phase. Obviously, we immediately closed, and then we reopened only a year and 2 months ago. So we were closed for a long time. So we really only count that year and 2 months as really the official launch of the restaurant.
Oh, I love it. Now, I came here the other night for a birthday party of 25 people, and we sat at one of these long and beautiful banquet. See that luxurious, sexy velvet area there? It was so great. The service was phenomenal. I believe Ryan took care of us,
Yes.
and he got all the orders right. He helped all the picky ones, all the particular ones. He added orders, subtracted orders, got all the bills right. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The
So glad
lighting
you
in
enjoyed it.
here at night is great. The food. Can we just talk about the food?
Let's talk about the food. It's funny, we're not really defined genre-wise. We kind of created our own. We call it Angelino cuisine. That's
Angelino
sort of
cuisine.
the birth child of our chef Oscar Torres. Really the food of LA. You know, he born and raised here. Our owner born and raised here. Myself born and raised here. We're in this melting pot. We're all Latino. However, we've been exposed to eating, some of the best sushi on Ventura Boulevard, some of the best Mexican food in South Central, some of the best Peruvian food in throughout the city. There's so many kind of cuisines that I feel like define LA, and this is sort of like our interpretation of growing up in the city.
Awesome.
So
Did you
definitely-
know there's more sushi restaurants here than in Japan?
Yeah, I believe it, and I would wager that Ventura Boulevard probably has some of the best sushi in the world next to Japan.
So how would you describe the food here? What are the influences
Yeah,
here?
absolutely. It's definitely Mesoamerican based, but with a worldwide approach. So we serve. I don't like the term surf and turf, but I feel like it is that. It's world class tomahawk steaks next to incredible Latin influenced pastas next to really beautiful presentations of vegetables. It's a worldwide cuisine fit into the boundaries of Los Angeles.
So my favorite thing on the menu this week, at least, because I haven't eaten everything, but I gave it a good shot last week, are the kale sprouts.
The kale sprouts are divine.
So I read online. So the kale, it's basically a cross between kale
Yes.
and Brussels sprouts.
Exactly.
And I did a Facebook post, so you can go to refer back to that, and I'll repost that so everybody here can see what those look like. But they have tahini, kimchi, some kind of sweet raisins in
Yeah.
them. It is an appetizer of champions.
It is. It's the best way to start the meal here. It's this beautiful house-made kimchi dressing, these pickled raisins, and then of course, like you mentioned, the kale sprouts, vegetable that doesn't get the love it deserves. Completely different from kale, so much more dynamic and flavorful.
Yeah, and it's also
And
beautiful.
it's, of course, fully vegan friendly and a great way to start the meal, I think, because there's a lot more decadence coming later. But it's absolutely delicious.
What is your favorite dish here on the menu?
My favorite dish on the menu is the lamb pasta for sure.
Lamb pasta was ordered by probably half of the party I was with.
Absolutely delicious. Yes, that's sort of my go-to after a long day of work. That's what I'm looking forward to, as well as the lamb pasta.
So you have fabulous meats. You have a lot of vegan and vegetarian fare. You have sushi. Do you have any pastas?
We do, yeah. We have a great section of pastas. We have a mushroom linguine that's beautifully delicious. We have a pizza oven in the back. We don't obviously make pizza on the menu, but we use it for the mushrooms. They're just
You're roasting the
completely
mushrooms
roasted in that oven.
in the pizza
So they come
oven.
out like really beautifully crispy, yet tender on the inside. To top of pasta, we also have a really great duck bolognese as well for someone that wants a bit more of a heartier meat pasta. Of course, the lamb pasta as well in that category. And then some lighter grain-based quinoa type dishes as well in that kind of middle section.
Yeah, so
Great
you
for
have
appetizers
you have
and
healthy versus rich, and
Exactly.
the flavor is just off the charts.
Yeah,
So
you could definitely come in and still be conscious about what you're eating, or you can go the full kind of the full decadent side of things, and you won't be disappointed either way.
well, let's talk about your specialty, the wines,
Sure.
which you've handpicked them. Was that your
so
job?
we've curated. We have about 380 expressions on the menu right now, and then usually 20 or so by the glass. That's always kind of rotating.
Wow.
So there's a very diverse list. Definitely French and American heavy, with influence from the rest of the world. So we have the great producers of Bordeaux and Burgundy and Napa Valley, of course, and then we also have some more eclectic selections that I think are at that same level that you can come in and try as well.
So as far as California wines, I know you've had a lot of them because your
Yeah.
parents dragged you around.
Yes, definitely.
What do you think of Paso Robles? Do you think they're up and coming?
I absolutely love Paso Robles. I think if you asked me a couple years ago, I would say up and coming. I think they've arrived. I think that Paso is at the forefront, especially us being in LA.
Yeah.
We have that advantage of it is our local region. That them and Santa Barbara are our local regions, and I think they're producing wines that are at the caliber of Napa. Different. They're not all going to be Cabernet based. There's a lot of really great Grenache Syrah blends from Paso Robles that I think are at the kind of level of what you may get in southern France. I think that we're getting a lot of great Pinot Noir from Santa Barbara that can be in the conversation with Burgundy as well, and those are our local producers, so we really want to support them. So we have a great selection of those wines that you can drive 3 hours and be outside of LA and immediately be on the winery with the winemaker. It's that close to home.
Yeah, we're lucky that way.
You're definitely lucky.
What's your favorite?
I've always had a love for Syrah. I think that's a grape that just from the beginning spoke to me.
What region or what area?
I would say the Rhone in France, the northern Rhone.
You're a purist.
Well, definitely, but I love also comparing that Syrah with some. I think that Booker and Paso Robles makes a great Syrah that blind I wouldn't be able to call. I think it's at that level. And then there's also Australian producers making Syrah at a level that I think is comparable.
And
as well.
Argentinian too.
Exactly. There's some fantastic examples in Chile as well. And for me, I love them all. That's just the grape that if you ask me what I'm drinking tonight, it's gonna be like a piece of steak and a glass of Syrah.
Love it. Now, and there's a ton of wineries in Mexico too that are going off. I mean, they're resorts. The food is amazing, and the wines that they are growing and producing are really competitive.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the future of Mexico. I was there a couple months ago, tasting wines from Chihuahua of all regions
Really?
that were absolutely outstanding, like a Merlot-based blend from Chihuahua that I think would please any Merlot fan that's used to French or Napa, and of course Valle de Guadalupe becoming a tourist destination. It's beautiful, close to the beaches. These larger wineries are starting to invest in projects there from around the world, so I think there's a really bright future for Mexico. And I don't have any on my list yet because I'm still waiting for the what I really want to pick. But I've been doing a lot of research. Our chef, of course, being Mexican as well. We've done many, many, many tastings looking for the few that we think are going to be the ones that we want to showcase on our list.
Oh, good. Well, whoever you pick is going to be
I'm very excited.
one lucky winery. Now, tell me about some of the cocktails because
Sure.
you have
Yeah,
a full
we have
bar.
An amazing bar presentation-wise. The cocktail program right now is split into two. It's split into a more classic approach on the right side of our menu, and then we also have specialty cocktails on the left side of our cocktail menu.
And
so you're gonna get
the glasses are gorgeous. The ice is beautiful. They
Yes.
have spheres and cubes and crushed goodies
Absolutely.
and all sorts of rimmed accoutrements, dried fruits, and just beautiful
yeah, we have a
rosemary
really talented,
sprigs and things.
really talented team behind the bar that kind of lead the way in curating that program. Again, something we try and change all the time. So usually every 6 to 8 months, we're going to have a full new menu of cocktails, which we're always excited about. It keeps it exciting and it keeps them creative back there as well.
And how about the desserts?
The desserts are all the creations of Chef Oscar as well. Yes, some of them are very addicting. I love we have a chocolate and caramel one that's absolutely delicious. We do also have a seasonal dish that's not on right now that's coming back at some point. It's turnip-based ice cream with coffee crumble.
What?
That,
turnip ice
is
cream?
Ridiculous.
Oh
yeah,
my
it's one of
gosh.
those you definitely have to try it without thinking of turnips because it's just really this like herbaceous ice cream essentially. It
Well,
doesn't
I
taste
love
like
turnips.
usual.
I grew up eating turnips
Then you'll love
from
it.
the garden, so I'm sure it's going to be.
Turnips, but presented for dessert, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I love that you can turn something savory
Absolutely.
into a sweet
Yeah.
and rich, delicious something more.
Of course. And if you're going for something big, we do have a French toast on the dessert menu that's to die for.
Oh my goodness. Well, tell us about where you came from prior to being here. You had another background.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, it was architecture. I always envisioned myself designing. For some reason, like apartment buildings, I always just thought I wanted to build luxury like condos in New York City or Miami, and obviously, while that was amazing and I was doing it briefly, COVID obviously changes a lot of things, and it was kind of during that lockdown that I was kind of reevaluating. I wasn't 100% happy. I liked the potential future of it, but I also just love wine, and I love the kind of concept behind verse, adding the music to it. I would never want to just go to a restaurant that's just food and drink based. I wanted something that was a little bit more interesting, and I think that element is what really makes us special.
Well, let's talk about the ambiance and the sound because the architecture in here has been specially designed.
Absolutely.
And can you tell us about that?
Of course. So the room is essentially a studio with a restaurant inside of it.
So, like a recording studio.
Exactly. So we track every single performance every night. Everything that's played here is recorded. The walls, while it looks like wallpaper, they're actually all sound panels that we printed on. The beams on the roof are actually faux beams. They're just hiding 60 speakers spread out throughout the room.
What?
And
You
then
can't even
there's
see
all
them.
These little microphones hanging from the ceiling as well.
Oh,
Those are kind of
yeah.
capturing the ambiance of each section of the room.
I see
and
it. I see
distributing
it.
throughout.
I see that there's one there. They're about every, like 10 feet?
Yeah,
12
they're
feet?
dispersed evenly throughout the room.
So they're
There's 40 of them.
recording not only the music, but
So they're not. Those microphones aren't recording. They're actually just capturing the crowd ambiance.
so
and
they're
then
the
spreading
people
that out.
sounds
Exactly.
of
So
eating
That's why
and
when you're
plates
in the room,
clinking.
it's never going to be like spotty. Every part of the room is going to sound the same because louder parts of the room are being balanced by the softer parts, and the speakers are distributing that volume across.
Wow.
So rather than having like one super loud table and then one really quiet table, it kind of brings everyone to the same volume. Slightly subconscious, but it works. We've seen it. And
I did notice that
Yeah.
because we had a crowd of 25 people, but it wasn't obnoxious, so you could
Yeah.
you could have a good
Exactly.
conversation.
it's super important to us. It
Yeah.
was always about you have to be able to have a conversation during the music. So live music will be playing. We'll have drummers in here who are, they're playing, they're shredding.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can still sit anywhere in the restaurant and have a great conversation. And vice versa, you can sit here at the bar and still hear the music from the stage all the way on the other side of the room at the perfect volume.
Oh, I love it. And what styles of music are you seeing right now?
We're definitely all over the map. A lot of Latin jazz, a lot of Brazilian, a lot of jazz, some R&B, and then we get some great pop musicians, some even a little bit of country. It's really
Cool.
It's really an eclectic selection. It's not so based on genre. It's based on just, is the music good? That's as simple as that. And
It
our
just
owner
has
kinda
to be
curates
good.
that week by week from his network of great musicians.
Well, you had a nice quartet here last Saturday, and it was amazing. There was no
Yeah.
vocalist, and I'm a singer, so I can appreciate just the musicians.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at a party and you want to just have the music surrounding you and
Absolutely.
enjoying your friends that you're visiting with. And I thought that their music choices were fantastic. Their charts were excellent, and it was the right volume. You
Yeah.
know, it was absolutely stunning. And when this room is filled with bodies, something happens to it. It just becomes warmer. It becomes very inviting, and it feels like you're in somebody's house.
Exactly.
You
We
know?
want it to feel kind of like you're just in our living room.
Yeah, and so the library area back there in the on the main stage, that is where the musicians normally are, and they may wander through the the dining room. You never know.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Now, if someone wanted to rent out this venue for a party or for their own private concert,
Yeah,
like Sting
absolutely.
calls you up and says, "Hey,"
We've had some really incredible private shows and some public shows as well from that range of more A-list artists. And
yeah.
we encourage people to reach out, shoot us an email, tell us what you're looking for, and we'll curate a night for you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put your contact info
Sure.
on my page so that everybody who's following Heather's Dream House,
Absolutely.
all my dreamers,
Absolutely.
can find you and just come here and experience this amazing, amazing environment.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
And my last question for you, thank you so much for being here with us, is what's your dream?
Sure. Yeah. I've always, my dream someday is to own a vineyard. I really do want to transition to making my own wine at some point, and I feel like this kind of role as a sommelier in a restaurant and also managing a restaurant is just kind of the preparation for me to really learn how I'm going to take it, when it's my business. And I love, again, like we were talking about Paso Robles earlier, Santa Barbara County. I think these are even Valle de Guadalupe in Mexico. I want to go to an up and coming region and bring that to somebody's glass. So I think that's my dream someday, is to produce my own wine.
Well, I hope you do get that dream. You seem certainly qualified and
Thank
most
you.
passionate enough for that dream to be
Yeah,
fulfilled.
looking forward to it.
And thank you for blessing us with your time.
My pleasure.
And we just hope you come by Verse one
Yes,
day.
please.
It's the most amazing place, and you're gonna see this handsome face, and he's gonna have picked the most amazing
Yes.
wines for you.
Come by, we'll drink some wine, and we'll be happy to share food with you.
Well, cheers, everybody, and we'll see you soon.